Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Old Man Brad. If this is your first time in, thank you so much for giving me a listen. This is a podcast that I talk all things horror, all things Tubi, and I have a series called Tales from Tubi that I mash those two together. I talk to filmmakers, I just have fun. Thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you're returning for another chapter, love having you back. So this chapter I am talking Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. This is a film that had a limited theatrical release about a month or two ago, and now it is available to stream on Screambox. There are a bunch of movies on Screambox that are awesome that you should go check out. I'm going to say it right now. Go check out Onyx. Shaky Shivers. This is an amazing horror comedy werewolf film. Heebie-Jeebie TV, which I had a previous episode where I talked to the filmmakers, and they have so much more. Subspecies 5 is on there, Terrifier 2, so much on Screambox. They have a pretty good library. You won't be disappointed. So before I move in to Onyx the Fortuitous, I just want to say, especially if you're new here, you love it, subscribe to the show so you don't miss it, and drop me a review on your favorite podcast app, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Good Pods, or whatever it may be. Just give me a review. Let me know what you think of the show. Enough of my rambling. Let's move into Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Marcus Trilberry can't catch a break.
Order up, number 46.
At his work, he gets no respect.
What, Marcus? I was just wondering if you got my new name tag in yet? Because this says Marquay Dickberry.
At his home, he gets no love.
I could understand if your father was still in the house, but this is Todd, your stepfather, and my lover.
And with his friends, oh, he doesn't have any. But all he needs is a chance.
Congratulations.
A fledgling occultist, Onyx, and a group of worshippers attend a once-in-a-lifetime ritual at their idol Bartok the Great's mansion. This was written and directed by Andrew Bowser. He also stars in the movie. He plays Onyx the Fortuitous. It also stars Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs. It is based off the viral videos Andrew Bowser released of Onyx Fortuitous on YouTube and TikTok. A movie that I talked about a couple weeks ago, Heebie-Jeebie TV, Onyx Fortuitous, actually has a cameo in said film. He's getting interviewed by the news people. But this movie is an absolute blast. I love this movie so much. It's the type of humor that is right up my alley. The more this movie went along, the more I had fun with it. The effects in this movie, the practical work in this movie was great. I love the design of the demons and the creatures. There's one creature that's in a box, and I really like the design of the creature. I thought it was great. And, you know, some characters, when they get their souls taken away from them, they basically turn into like a zombie. I thought those looked great. This is a movie about Marcus Trilberry, aka Onyx, and he is misunderstood at home and at work. His mom is Barbara Crampton, but he wins an invitation to the mansion of his idol, Bartok the Great. And it is very much like a Willy Wonka type of thing. Let's think of it as an even darker Willy Wonka, although the original Willy Wonka has got some pretty dark stuff to it. He goes to the mansion with other people who idolize him, all quirky in their own way. As it goes along, you find out some things about Bartok, as he's not a good person. As the ritual goes along and souls are taken and demons come out, and it is just so funny. One of my favorite scenes, this isn't really much of a spoiler, I think it might be in the trailer, that they're talking about, each of them kind of gets a role, like one's a warrior, one's a werewolf, one's a princess, and they get to Onyx and he's the virgin. And there's this whole thing about him being the virgin, which it, comes around in the end. It's just so funny. If you've ever watched any of the Onyx the Fortuitous shorts or videos on TikTok or YouTube, you probably know a lot of the jokes with his lunchbox, his little tiny wines and his figures and stuff like that. But if you've never heard of Onyx or don't know about him, you're still going to have a great time with this. Jeffrey Combs in this film, I could probably sit and talk for a while about his character. He went all in on his character of Bartok the Great. And he is just chewing up the scenery as he goes along. And it is just so funny anytime he's on screen or Onyx. Any of these actors in this film, I feel like they really brought their comedic game, and it is well worth checking out Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. This movie would be a fantastic double feature with the Knights of Badassdom. As I was watching through this movie, that is one of the first things I thought is like, I need to watch this with the Knights of Badassdom because this would make a great double feature and just be an absolute delight to watch because both these movies are just fun. They're funny. The humor in them, like I said, is right up my alley. And I highly recommend checking out not only Knights of Badassdom if you've never seen it, but Onyx the Fortuitous. It is now streaming on Screambox. I think you can buy it on VOD as well. You're going to have a great time with it as I did. And let me know what you think of the movie if you go see it. All my links to connect will be down below, but you can find me on X/Twitter at ToBeTuesday and all the others, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can find me Old Man Brad. I had a blast. I want to know if other people really enjoyed it as well. And if you do, let me know a movie you would put as a double feature with it. Is there any horror comedies that kind of, hit the same line, this 80s, 90s throwback comedy, like Fright Night, The Gremlins, Monster Squad, all those type of things? Is there another movie that you would pair with this? Let me know that. Well, there you go. Like I said, streaming on Screambox. Go check it out right now. Before I leave you, I want to give you one movie you should watch at home and one that you should skip. So first up, the one that you should skip is I recently just watched The Exorcist Believer, and I did not like it at all. I thought the movie was, for one, very dull. Their connections to the original Exorcist just to be forced in. Ellen Burstyn it was a glorified cameo. There was no reason whatsoever for her to be in this movie at all. There was no reason at all to try to tie it to the original films. The story itself could have worked of two girls possessed at the same time by the same demon. That could have worked on its own without trying very hard to tie it to the originals. And that was one of its biggest faults. The other one it was very dull. Nothing really happened for like 40 minutes of the film. And then once you get to the final exorcism in this film, it was more laughable than intense as it should be. And I absolutely cannot recommend The Exorcist Believer. What I can recommend, if you want a possession movie, go see The Exorcists, starring Doug Bradley and Denise Duff, because that is a much more entertaining and much more enjoyable film than Exorcist Believer. All right, so the one you should definitely go rent that I actually just watched it today is Suitable Flesh. This is a movie, it's directed by Joe Lynch, who coincidentally also did The Knights of Badassdom, and it stars Heather Graham and Barbara Crampton. It is based off of an H.P. Lovecraft story. This is a very quirky, weird, twisted, cosmic body swapping film. It is odd, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like, it fits in with movies like From Beyond, one of my favorites from a few years ago, The Color Out of Space. This is just that odd cosmic horror You get quite some good bloody scenes towards the end. There is one with a body that's crawling around that that's all I'm going to say about it. But when you get to it, you'll be like, ooh, wow. Suitable Flesh is only available on VOD right now to rent. I think it will be available on Shudder here in the coming months. So if you want to wait, you can check it out there. But go check it out. One of my favorites that I have seen recently. Absolutely loved it. All right, so that will do it for another chapter of Old Man Brad. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to the show so you never miss any episodes, and drop me a review on your favorite podcatcher. I will be back later this week with an interview with Michael Kuchek, the writer and director of Death Metal, which you can watch on Tubi right now. But watch for that dropping this Friday, and then next week, and we'll have a brand new Tales from Tubi just in time for Thanksgiving. I'm going to talk about Thanksgiving. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.